Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of chess history, a game played in the 1964 U.S. Junior Championship in Towson, Maryland. Here, the legendary Andrew Soltis, playing white, faced Edward Allen, playing black. This game has drama, sharp tactics, and a brilliant finish. So, let's break it down, move by move, and explore the thought process behind each decision. White played pawn to e4. The classic king's pawn opening. Andrew Soltis lays claim to the center, opening lines for his queen and bishop. Black replied with pawn to c5. Edward Allen chooses the Sicilian defense, immediately challenging the center from the flank, aiming for counterplay and imbalanced positions. White played knight to f3. Develops the knight, attacks the e5 square, and prepares for rapid development. Black played pawn to d6. Solidifies the c5 pawn, opens the diagonal for the dark-squared bishop, and hints at a dragon setup. White played pawn to d4. Immediate confrontation. White wants two central pawns versus one, launching into open Sicilian territory. Black captured with pawn takes d4. Removes one of White's central pawns, forcing the game into standard theory lines. White recaptured with knight takes d4. Places the knight back in the center, exerting influence on multiple squares. Black played knight to f6. Attacks the e4 pawn and develops aggressively. White played knight to c3. Defends e4 and strengthens control over the center, completing queenside development. Black played pawn to g6. This officially signals the dragon variation. Black fianchettos the bishop to pressure the center and queenside. White played bishop to e3. A key Yugoslav attack move, protecting the knight and eyeing the queenside. Black played bishop to g7. Fianchetto complete, targeting the long diagonal. White played pawn to f3. Locks down g4, supports a possible e4-e5 push, and prepares for queen to d2 and long castling. Black played knight to c6. Develops and attacks the d4 knight. White played queen to d2. A classic Yugoslav attack setup. The queen eyes h6 and supports the bishop on e3, ready for queenside castling. Black castled kingside. The king is safe and black is ready to counterattack in the center. White played bishop to c4. Aggressive bishop placement, eyeing f7 and applying tactical pressure. Black played knight to d7. Repositions the knight, possibly heading to e5 or c5. White played pawn to h4. The pawn storm begins. White aims at h5 to rip open black's kingside. Black played knight to b6, attacking the bishop on c4 and forcing white to react. White played bishop to b3, keeps the bishop alive while maintaining pressure on f7. Black played knight to a5, looking to attack the c4 square and possibly exchange the bishop pair. White played queen to d3, centralizes, eyes both kingside and queenside targets, and covers tactical threats. Black played bishop to d7, prepares a c6-c5 break and improves the bishop's position. White played pawn to h5. White commits fully to the attack, forcing weaknesses around black's king. Black played rook to c8, shifts the rook to the c-file, preparing queenside counterplay. White played pawn takes g6. Opens the h-file, a critical attacking step. Black recaptured with pawn takes g6. Keeps the h-file closed for now, but weakens the kingside structure. White castled queenside. The king is now safe, and the rooks are connected. Time for full-scale attack. Black played knight to c4. Strikes at white's queenside. Black needs counterplay fast. White played pawn to g4. Expands the kingside storm, threatening pawn to g5 at the right moment. Black played knight takes e3. Trades off an important attacker to ease the pressure. White recaptured with queen takes e3. Maintains attacking presence and keeps control of key diagonals. Black played knight to c4. Once again, increasing pressure on the queen side. White played queen to f2. Eyes the h4-h8 diagonal and prepares rook lifts. Black played queen to a5. Targets the white king and increases pressure on the c3 pawn. White played knight to d5, a powerful central outpost, attacking c7 and disrupting black's coordination. Black played rook to e8, prepares rook support along the e-file. White played queen to h4, threatening dangerous mating ideas around black's king. Black played king to f8. Steps out of immediate mating nets. White played rook to h2, preparing to double rooks on the h-file. Black played bishop to a4. Threatens tactics on the c2 rook. White played rook to h1. Now the h-file is fully under White's control. Black played pawn to f6. Tries to block the h-file, but this weakens the king even more. White played queen to h8 check. A stunning move forcing Black into a defensive nightmare. Black played king to f7, trying to run away from the checks. White played queen takes g7 check. Captures a bishop and continues the relentless attack. Black played king takes g7, forced but now completely exposed. White played rook to h7 check, keeping the attack going. Black played king to g8. The king is trapped on the back rank. White played rook to h8 check. And its over mate is inevitable. Black resigned. Final result: Andrew Soltis wins 1-0. This game is a perfect textbook example of the Yugoslav attack against the dragon. White launches a pawn storm, sacrifices material for an open h-file, and finishes with a crushing mating net. Andrew Soltis showed why opposite-side castling games in the Sicilian are some of the sharpest and most exciting battles in chess history.